All right. It's recording, just like other times I've had stuff recorded. It seems like you can get around these time loops. But don't tell Zoom about this because we wouldn't be able to do
The
this little.
hack.
Yep. So we're on question 17, I believe.
Yes.
Yep. So uh, this kind of reflects back on to the earlier question, but when you're reading a writer, uh, can you tell me examples of writers you like? And are they more into flowery language or straightforward?
It's a good question. I mean, I enjoy poetry. Um, I really like Olivia Blake. She does like kind of fantasy novels. Like dark academia novels, I guess. I will say I definitely notice when some writers are very overly flowery and it annoys me. I also hate it when writers are overly detailed.
All right.
It's like I want to create the images myself.
So that makes sense. So you prefer it when they use some metaphors and symbolism, but not so much where they say what they exactly mean.
Yeah. It's like give me the benefit of the doubt as the reader that I can pick up on what you're saying.
Yeah, let me use my own mind.
Yes.
Okay, so 18. So this is a very obvious one, like what's about. Um, but we're going to still do it. So, do you prefer it when people are all friendly and happy with each other, that there's no conflict, or do you prefer it when there are no errors at all? Um, that uh, there's like basically things are more accurate or well structured.
Hmm. This is kind of tough because I really hate it when there's disharmony, but I also hate it when things are incomplete. I think I would prefer people are getting along even if they disagree, rather than if there's a lot of conflict.
All right, that actually answers the question very well. So we're going to go ahead and put that down. Okay, 19. Um, so you must tell someone they're fired. Tell me, how do you go about doing it?
Ooh. This is like the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, especially with your answer to the last one.
Oh, I don't even know. I would probably just be very apologetic. I'd probably cry a little bit, to be honest. I don't think I can handle it.
Uh,
Be very upset. Unless they were getting fired for like some very like obvious reason,
when I was 0. Okay.
misconduct or something, then it'd be a little bit easier.
Yeah, when someone's like objectively crappy.
Yes. And it's like, bye.
Okay, so when you are doing a project, okay, I can't really skirt around this one. So I'm just going to ask you, do you prefer things to be scheduled to your liking or unscheduled and open?
Hmm. I like having a routine, I guess. Yeah. Schedules help me stay on track. That being said, I do actually I find a lot of value in having just openness with nothing going on. But I think it turns into the thing where I schedule in. time
Yeah,
to do nothing. So I don't know if it defeats the purpose.
probably. Okay. All right. So this one's about rules. So, do you think prefer things um, set in stone, or as statements like group rules on Facebook, set in stone, or do you prefer things to be at the start, but you can deviate if you want?
Um,
Or not even just Facebook, like even for like rules at a job place.
I think I don't know. I don't mind if there's like flexibility, unless people are gonna get mad at you for using said flexibility. And then it's like, why didn't you have more firm rules?
That's funny. Okay. This one's very obvious. So I'm going to do it this way. So you're interacting with people. It doesn't matter if you're trying to avoid it or not. So people are coming up to you. They're talking with you. Um, and you're interacting with them. Um, can you tell me what happens eventually in your mind, your energy level, your emotional state, your irritation versus the opposite of irritation, and so on?
Like after interacting with people for a while,
Yep.
or yeah, I get distracted mentally. I'll get bored and start thinking about other things. There's definitely like a time limit almost, like a certain cutoff point. I'm like, okay, time to leave.
Yep.
Like I need to get away now.
I got it. All right, 23. Um, so tell me about facts.
Facts.
You don't have to tell me exact facts, but just tell me your approach to them.
Um, well, I like learning about them, but I will question them. I always have to like back them up and make sure they're like legit facts, unless there's something obvious where it's like so and so lived until this year. It's like okay. Um, I like little factoids about people. I think they're really interesting, but I don't know. I find it annoying when people are like just take things at face value all the time.
All right, so they don't speak for themselves necessarily.
No, yeah, I guess not.
All right. Let's see here. Uh, which one was that was at okay, that one would be A, so there we go. 24. So if I were to give you towards someone who was a thinker and a visionary who they're talking about their plans for the future. They're oriented towards this particular plan, such as a political figure or some type of professor. What's your impression on such people usually?
People who are like very visionary.
Yeah.
Um, I think they're super interesting. I like engaging with them, and like their ideas and systems.
All right, awesome. All right,
Yeah, typically.
we just got the answer for that one like really quickly.
Woo.
Okay. Um, so you're in a heated discussion. People are, um, the energy level and the discussion is so horrific. people are irritated visually and audibly. Um, there's about to be some insults. People are going to start hitting on each other, as the feelers like to say. So, um, my question to you, um, from that is, how do you approach it? And you cannot just escape. So let's say it's in person.
No.
You have like some type of armed security guard. So if you try to escape, this is totally unrealistic, but no way you're getting out.
Hypothetical. Um, I don't know. Whenever I witness arguments, I feel like half the time people are just talking past each other and they don't even realize it. I guess I would try to get everyone maybe to. Sometimes I do kind of mediate between people, or I'll try to reframe the conversation in a way that everyone's talking on the same level. It is not always successful, but
All right. Um, so 26. It's one of those, is it better to be questions? So we're going to do it this way. You are the judge and jury and executioner of something. How would you go about it? Like, how would you decide, this person's doing wrong and this person's doing wrong? Do you punish them? Are you lenient, forgiving, or what is it? And yeah.
I guess it would depend on the crime, but I guess I like more rehabilitative measures as opposed to like punitive ones
Mhm.
in general. I think they're more effective. Um, if that answers the question, I don't know.
All right. So it does, but I'm going to ask you, if someone says, I'm sorry for the same situation, does that change anything in your mind?
I mean, I think they still have to be responsible
Mhm.
for what they've done, so maybe not.
All right. So 27. Um, so is it more natural when you're working with people? Uh, there are people, you're not in charge of them or anything like that in this situation. But you see people are making mistakes. How do you approach that? And remember,
Um,
you're not so much the boss or anything like that.
yeah, I mean, I'd be tempted to just let it go unless it really affects
Mhm.
a project we're working on.
All right, so that
It's not my
actually
place.
that answers that question. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. All right, uh, 28. You already answered this question basically, but I'm going to ask it in a very straightforward way. Are you more comfortable after the decision or before making it?
Um, making a decision.
Hmm.
I guess after, yeah.
All right, awesome. So that would be a 1 out of 0. There we go. 29. Um, so everyone has opinions. That's a fact of life. Um, and would you like when you have your opinions, and you're interacting with a group of people who have opinions, let's say on a Facebook forum or even in a in-person forum, like a symposium, are you more of a mouth person or ear person? What I mean by that is, do you like to speak it, or do you like to hear and keep your ears open?
Definitely more of a listener, yeah, hearing it.
Hmm, sounds good to see here.
I like to know everybody else's opinion before saying mine.
All right, 30. We're making some decent ground. Um,
Ooh.
so common sense. Let's say I tell you, that's common sense. How do you respond to me saying that? I say something that's um, sounds kind of commonsensical, but it may be not. And I am confident I say, that's common sense. Everyone knows that. How do you respond?
I think I want to argue with you.
Right. So it's questionable, not reliable.
Right.
All
So many fallacies are common sense.
right. All right. For 31, talking about children. Uh, let's say that you're around a child, you're babysitting the child, and the child's um, what, like it's just a regular child. You have children and this whole entire thing. What do you think about children? Are they more too imaginative, or do you think that they uh, are not imaginative enough? Um, so are they more like would you rather them use their imagination, or would you rather them do their chores?
Um,
Like,
I think
actually,
creativity is really important.
yeah, I could have said that more in the sense of, let's say you're a mother, but that makes sense. Uh, Okay, so all right, 32. Where's 32? All right, we already answered this one not too long ago. Do you mean just put your answer down to this one, or do you mean to read it
Sure.
to you?
Nah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, 0, 1, 33. So this one is very funny because it's very straightforward, but I cannot think of any way to say this. So I'm just going to go ahead and uh, like it's one of those questions where it's like you could be both at the same time. So
Mm,
you're approaching uh, some type of issue. There are people who are suffering. Um, what is more important to you? Uh, Keeping your head, objective, or kind of using your heart, your emotions, um, to empathize, sympathize. I mean, yes, you could actually do both, but yeah.
yeah, that one's hard because you could do both, but also it depends on what you're trying to do for them.
Mhm. All right, so let's say it in different terms. Say that you have friends who are like a mother and a father. Their child died, and it was because they had done something stupid, which had led to the child's death. Um, so immediately you focus on fact of what had just occurred to make your judgment, or do you prefer to empathize or sympathize with your friend who had just, you
Mm, that's really hard. I mean, I guess outwardly I would try to be sympathetic, but in my mind I would be like thinking about it very fact of the matter, I guess.
know? So uh, you'd say you're warm-hearted in the sense.
I don't know. Um, I guess so.
Act like I'm judging you really badly. Just kidding. Yeah. We gotta, I just had to make sure that there was an answer. Okay, 34. So this one's obvious. So I'm just gonna ask it straightforwardly. Are you more towards nailing things done or exploring what is possible? From your previous answers, I kind of already know what you're gonna say, kind of, but
Hmm. I think I tend to narrow down possibilities. Like I see a lot of them, but once I have a good crop, I don't really go fishing for more unless I have to, if that makes sense.
yeah, it does.
I feel like that's a very NI question.
Let's see here. 34. You got the A. So we're gonna do that one. All right, 35. In most situations, um, I'm gonna have to ask you this way. Um, so in life, if some people are more um, relaxed, things will happen as they go. Some people are more deliberative and try to plan things out. Um, one group of people get irritated by the other. So, which group of people are you, considering your life and everything? Remember, we're not talking about work. We're not talking about school. We're talking about just, hanging out, just being.
Um, I tend to have like plans for my life, I guess, long-term goals. Um, yeah, I think even when hanging out with people, I mean, I feel like we usually make some kind of plans.
Hmm.
It's fine if they change, but like just having something set on the calendar makes it less stressful.
Yeah, that makes
Sometimes
sense.
people are very non-committal and it drives me crazy.
Yeah. So the next one, it's gonna be so obvious. My big criticism of the Keirsey Temperament Sorter uh, is similar to my criticism of the MBTI sometimes. We have these dichotomies right here. Sometimes it's kind of obvious. So I'm just going to ask you this one straightforward. Thinking about your life, are you more outgoing or private? I kind of already know the answer to this because of the other questions, but
Yeah, private for sure. People have complained to me about that.
oh, same here. People um, really just don't like the fact that I'm reserved and yeah, even family get-togethers is kind of funny. But, um, so next one, it's also one of those really obvious questions, but we're going to ask it in a different way. Um, so when you are looking at things, do you prefer like just tell me how you do things? Do you like look at things because of how they work, or the other word um, is just another word for fancy. So, or do you prefer using your imagination on things?
Like a functional or aesthetic thing.
Yep.
Um, I mean, I feel like both are important, but
But
I guess I'm kind of creative about things. I like to be imaginative with and try to use items for multiple functions as opposed to just the obvious one.
that sounds good. 38. So if I were to ask you right now about something, uh, like I'm not going to for the sake of time, but um, you start with the universal and just keep to the universal, or do you prefer to stick to the particulars? As a logician, this annoys me because you have to go from the universal to the particular for syllogism.
Yeah. I mean, I like thinking about universals, the forms, abstract stuff.
Yeah. So the answer to that one is B. Okay, got it. All right. So next one is 39, um, which is a compliment to you. And I'm going to change the answers to this one because the way it says is kind of obvious. You're a very good person, or you're a good thinker, or uh,
Mm,
you're very
like which
kind.
one is better?
Yeah, if you had to choose. This kind of reminds me of something I read in like I think Stoic philosophy, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like to be a good thinker is to like also be a good person. Like, if you're a good person, you will also be a good thinker. But if it's like if you're a kind person versus a good thinker, I don't know. I feel like I'd like to be known as a good thinker. So maybe it's just the ego in me, but
all right, so we're gonna have to go over this a little bit better. Um, so knowing that people cannot really, like, when they are judging you, um, there are some things you can control, some things you cannot control. Now they might think that you're a good thinker because they agree with you. They might think you're a bad thinker because they disagree with you, but they
that's
can
true.
tell if you are a kind-hearted person that you're giving to the poor or whatever. Especially, I mean, like I guess if you're public about it, they might think you're using vainglory. But uh, so does that change your answer any? Or
No,
all right,
I don't think so.
40. Okay, this one kind of is dumb. I don't like the wording of this question. Uh, so, um, so if there's anyone from Keirsey's Institute watching, uh, I I don't mean to attack Dr. David Keirsey. I really like his work. I talk about him and his system as the best, but um, I'm just going to ignore this question in the sense of how it's said. So, um, are you more of a type of person who like your heartstrings kind of act kind of like as something that a puppeteer can take control of, or if someone gave you like good reason um, that you would do it.
Um, I think I'm more persuaded by good reason because I'm a little bit sensitive to people who are trying to manipulate.
All right, and that kind of messed it up a little bit. So let's try it this way. So your thoughts versus your feelings, that's what it says originally. So because I think it's true, because I think it's true, or because I think it's the right thing to do.
Oh, wait, what is it? Thoughts versus feelings?
Yeah, basically, this is way too straightforward. This is what I hate about it. So
About right and wrong? Um, that's a bad question.
that's a terrible question.
Oh, we've hit our 30-minute mark also.
Um,
I don't know, maybe feelings.
so is that your final answer? Or would you rather me just put an X there?
Can we just put an X?
Okay. Uh, 41. When you finish up a job, um, do you like? Can you tell me? You have this nice. Um, let's say you're a coder. Do you check the code, make sure it's all perfectly, or would you rather just go on to the next thing just fine?
I have to double check for sure. I mean, if it works, usually that's good enough code for me, but when it comes to other projects, I get a little perfectionistic about design and making sure it's edited and thing.
42. And by the way, with the X's, I'm just going to assume that it's going to be on the side of whichever is the more dominant at the final score.
Okay.
That way we don't have to worry about it too much.
Nice.
42 is basically asking, are you more abstract thinker or concrete thinker? Are you inclined to take what's said more literally or figuratively? So I'll just ignore that and
Yeah, definitely more abstract. Um,
use the IQ test question for this one in its place. Uh, so if you didn't eat anything since yesterday morning, how would you feel right now?
I would be starving, be very hungry.
All right. So let's see here. We're gonna go with figurative on that one, even though that is a literal answer. Some people they will be like, but I did, because they don't understand hypotheticals.
Right.
Uh, okay, 43 is okay. This is one's obvious. You don't miss much. You're not very talkative, unless you want to change that really quick.
No.
Okay, 44. Um, that dude, I think I made a mistake. Uh,
Uh-oh.
so this one is that literal versus. So 42 is exactly how this should have been. So I'm going to go ahead and put 42's answer right here and ask you 42. Really quick. Do you prefer to work to deadlines or just whenever?
Hmm.
So no deadlines being forced on you. So
I do find deadlines helpful, to be honest. Like, that's part of why I went back to schools, because if I
mm,
set to teach, it'll sort of be half done and not.
all right.
I need something to actually force me to complete things
Yeah.
sometimes.
So this one, I kind of like the way it's being asked. No, I actually, yeah. Um, it's basically this one. This one's kind of obvious. I'm just gonna ask the way it is. Do you see more often what is right in front of you or what only can be imagined? Um,
I think I'm more imaginative.
Sounds good. 46. Is it worse to be in your mind? If I called you a softie, how does that make you feel?
I don't know. Part of me feels like it's patronizing.
Okay, well, what if I called you hard-nosed?
That doesn't sound good either. I think I'd rather be a softie.
All right. Uh, so this one is 36. And the answer to that one is B. 47. The good thing is we're making some good progress.
Yay. We might have to do another video though. We have like 4 minutes left.
4 minutes. Yeah. Um, so we're gonna have a 3-part video. This is just fine. We're actually so close. In trying
Woo.
circumstances, are you some times sympathetic or unsympathetic? So this is a
When
rare
is
case.
it? In trying circumstances?
Yeah. So like everyone, let's say you're in the Great Depression or whatever, and everyone's impoverished. So some people are complaining to you, I'm so poor, give alms to the needy, whatever.
Mm, I think I might be a little unsympathetic. Just because after a certain, maybe I just have a very specific example in mind. Sometimes people bring things on themselves, and it's a little bit hard to be
Okay. But I'm
sympathetic.
so like, how about this one? In the trying situation, we're gonna say that someone is injured, like so someone had lost their leg, so they
Mhm.
cannot even take care of themselves.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant like in extreme situations, like in general.
So yeah,
But you
but
just mean in like times of hardship, right?
yeah, like that's why I wanted to say the Great Depression. Um, so like everyone's poor.
I see. Okay, yeah, then I think I'd be more sympathetic. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I guess in my mind I thought the question was like, after a certain point with people, do you get frustrated with them or something?
all
I don't
right.
know why I thought that way. I don't know why I thought that.
Yes, this is why this is better than like taking a test online, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so this next one is kind of obvious. I'm going to choose for you based off of the other stuff in this one. So it's basically, do you tend to choose rather carefully or somewhat impulsively? But from what we see so far, it looks like you're more of a careful person, right?
Yeah, definitely slow. Slow to make decisions, almost compulsive.
All right. So almost, so 49. Are you more of a leisurely person or a hurried person is basically what it's asking. And since we're towards the end, I was wanting to like of this particular one before we get into part 3. I just wanted to ask you this one without yeah.
I think I'm more of a hurried person.
All right. 49. Great. Okay, we got looks like 20 more questions left, but we're going pretty good. You have any further commentary you want to put on this? And people keep in mind that yes, I do agree that the IE, SN, TF, JP type distinction is somewhat bad usually. But uh, once we get all these done, I would like to actually look at the functions and we'll try to verify the results.
Cool.
So what's your opinion so far?
Um, that sounds good. This has been really interesting. And yeah, I definitely would not have thought through these answers if I was just doing a like a survey or something online. And I think even reading the book I'd be confused by some of them too. So it's nice that you've like have them studied.
Mhm. Yeah, it's you know me, I'm very much with my channel NTZone. I'm very much into like personality psychology and try to put philosophy and psychology together. So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I like the system. So
All right. All right, we got less than a minute. So see you in the next recording part 3, and hopefully we won't have a part 4.